Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning into this online forum this week. And I want to say apologies again for last week with some of the technical difficulties we have. But we're re-recording this so that you don't have all the feedback that we got last week from some of those that were attending our call. So this should be a much more easily heard presentation. And I've got Bill Horgan, our Director of Training, on with me now. And we look forward to seeing you this week for our third week of the forum. So in week 2, we talked about, again, focusing on fixed ops management and leadership through challenging times. And this quote in the upper right-hand corner of the screen I thought was appropriate for kind of where we all are in this new way of doing business. It's a quote by Helen Keller, and it says, "A bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn." And right now is one of many turns that we in service and parts operations have to make in order to adapt to what our customers need, to what our company is asking us to do. And we do want to continue to stay focused on delivering a good customer experience that exceeds their expectations. And we'll talk a little bit about that here shortly. So if you missed last week's forum, real briefly, we did cover the 5 C's of leading in adversity, and that link is included here. So when I send this out to you, feel free to go back to week 1 and review that. There was some really good material and information on there that we found and that should help you to continue to accommodate your customers. We want to continue looking at this 5th C, which is centered around consistency. And it's one of the areas that you as managers can control right now in your stores is remaining consistent to certain processes that you already provide to your customers and adding to those, right, with some of the new accommodations you're making. So consistency in providing customer service that exceeds expectations. So we're going to move into some specific training content when I pull Bill on the call to help you with your advisors in the drive delivering those exceptional experiences to your customers. So how can you exceed their expectations today? You have to continue to communicate through your emails and your website. Communicate the new hours of operation and the services that are being offered. We've seen very often on websites folks talking about contact-free key exchange, no contact delivery of your vehicle, things like that. Proactive measures being taken to ensure their safety and health when visiting your service department. Make sure they know the degree and the extent to which you are sanitizing, disinfecting, allowing social distances of 6 feet. Every piece of information you can provide, again, ensures your customer of their own well-being. And be a positive in their day. While everyone's going to want to probably reference what we're going through at some point, that's fine, but you want to redirect those customers again to the positive that you're providing in your store. And so there are some ways you can also be proactive with that by providing how-to videos. Maybe you've got a special promotion talking about the special hours for your high-risk customers, and then remaining to be connected with your community, especially for those of you that are leaders in your community, which is most, if not all of us. Continue to be the leader as we move through this crisis. So here are a few examples of some of the dealerships we've seen across the country and what they're doing online. This is the Carter Myers Automotive Group, and this is Liza Borchis. She's the CEO. So she's got a personal message to their customers as to how they're moving forward through this, additional hours of operation and things like that. So that's one idea. You can record yourself on video. This is a very straightforward homepage by a dealer here in Ohio. It's obvious that they are open, and that's a big one that you have to continue to communicate to your customers. Let them know that you are open. We had a BDC in New York. I talked to the director there, and he told me that the #1 call they were getting was from customers asking if they were still open. So there are customers out there that need your services. You have to let them know. So make sure your websites are updated. And then here's another one from a dealer group. And what I've got circled here at the bottom, I'm going to show you in detail on this next slide. They have taken it a step further. So they decided early on to close their building. They do not allow customers to come into the building. Whoops. Okay. I'll read this to you. I'm missing that slide, but I'll read this to you. So at this particular dealer group, they decided to accommodate their customers outside the service department. So they set up an exterior customer waiting lounge with tents and heaters. They've also got new cars parked around the service drive so that customers can get in the new cars and sit in those while they're waiting for their service to be completed. So they've communicated that via this letter on the homepage of their website. There will be enough vehicles available so that each customer will have their own vehicle to sit in. These vehicles will be thoroughly disinfected after each use. We ask that you bring your own beverages and snacks if you plan to wait for your vehicle. They're not offering those things at this time. So another idea for you to share with your customers to be proactive in maintaining social distance. And then here's another one, which was very kind of quick and creative. This is a dealer group out west. And they created two things here, a new tire display, but it's also a compliant customer counter. It establishes that 6 foot of distance with some tires and some metal shelving that they had. And so everyone is kind of working on the fly to adapt and change through this. How to exceed customer expectations in the service drive. Continue to maintain that consistent reception process. Be professional, be positive, be upbeat. Make sure your advisors know this and give them the additional word tracks they need in order to, again, ensure customers all the efforts that you're making at keeping their vehicle safe and clean. Continue to talk about maintenance menus and MPI results, particularly this time of year in the spring. There are several maintenance items that are directly related to the severe driving conditions that many areas have just kind of come out of through winter. Advise on safety and reliability of the customer's vehicle always. And again, reminding them of the safety and health actions that you're taking in your dealership. All right, so I am going to turn this over to Bill Horrigan, our Director of Training, and he is going to get into some specific training that you can do with your team with regard to modern tires and alignments, and how you can continue talking about those services with your customers.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being on the call with us. One of the things that me and Kristen are trying to, as we're talking about what topics to bring up, one of the things that we see over and over again is what prevents advisors from getting more customers to say yes to some of the services that they need. And I think a lot of that is their awareness of some of the technical issues on vehicles. So that's one of the things that we're going to be providing as we do some of these things, and especially on tires and alignments. Take the time now this is a perfect time to train your advisors on technical awareness and in this example of modern tires and alignments, and give them some of the tools that they're going to need to show those features and benefits when selling these products or services. I guarantee you, when we go through some of the things on modern tires and alignments, there are some basic things that advisors just don't understand on why we do alignments, on some of the things about modern tires, which we'll go through. And when was the last time you taught your advisors about the challenges of the softer rubber on modern tires and some of the issues that causes? And do they know the importance of regular tire maintenance and the potential for the life of the tires to decrease by up to 50% without that proper maintenance? So do you know some of the changes that we've got with modern tires? In the 1980s, there were 40 passenger tire sizes, and vehicles were manufactured back then to match the tires. That's changed today. Today, there are over 400 passenger tire sizes that are engineered to improve the safety and fuel efficiency of the vehicle and are manufactured to match the vehicle. So back in the 80s, the vehicles were manufactured to match the tires, and in today's world, the tires are manufactured to match the vehicle. And this has increased the manufacturing costs on tires a great deal, which is back in the 80s, and this, if you adjust for inflation, I'm sure it still wouldn't even come close to this. It wasn't unusual to buy 4 tires for $100 to $200. In today's world, it's $1,000. Tires are now made with 2 main enhancements: a softer tread compound, which allows the tire to bite into the asphalt rather than right on top of the asphalt, and a stiffer sidewall to provide a faster response rate to braking and cornering. And what that stiffer sidewall does is that you don't want the tire to roll over as you're going around turns. As a result, new tires may wear out at only 40,000 miles compared to a few years ago with the S&T rated tires, whose lifespan was 80 to 120,000 miles. These higher speed rating tires provide benefits, but today B-rated tires are on entry-level vehicles. B rating is one of the highest speed ratings available, and a few years ago was only used on sports cars. H-rated tires on trucks and large SUVs, which is only one step below a V rating, the life of the tire is 50 to 60,000 miles, significantly less than the old S&T rated tires. And Z-rated tires are on luxury passenger cars. W and Y are subcategories of that Z rating, and they used to be only on Corvettes, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, so soft it leaves a rubber footprint on the concrete. Best case life of the tire is about 30,000 miles if they're maintained properly. As a result, that greater wear and tear, and when softer rubber tires are not maintained properly, rotated, balanced, and aligned, and make sure the pressure is properly, their lifespan can decrease by 25 to 50%. So your customer's investment in their tires makes regular maintenance of those tires and vehicle alignment even much more important than it ever was before. So what are some of the proper tire maintenance? And inflation should be checked every 3,000 miles. The proper inflation, under or overinflated tires is a major cause of premature wear. Tire rotations, front tires wear much more rapidly than the rear tires because of the turning that they do, resulting in a heel-to-toe wear pattern, which causes the outside edges of those tires to wear off much faster. Most common to rotate tires from front to back, although there are some other configurations. And on some vehicles, it's impossible to rotate tires, but in the ones you can, you need to be focusing on that. And what this does is it evens out tread wear and extends the life of the tire just by rotating it up to 30%. Tire balance, belts shift over a period of time on tires, and that gets them out of balance. And this causes premature tire wear and the excessive vibration, which impacts the important steering and suspension components, could make them wear out prematurely, making the vehicle less safe. Tire maintenance is rarely suggested, by the way, by any vehicle manufacturer because they do not warrant the tires. The tires are warranted, they want to keep the cost of ownership down. So any of the manufacturers are trying to keep their average cost of ownership down. None of them recommend an alignment. So when is an alignment needed? Recommended annually or at the first sign of tire wear. And the tire manufacturers who warrant the tires are the ones who are recommending an alignment, and they usually recommend it again annually or every $12,000 to $15,000. And remember, an alignment is done to prevent tire wear. And lots of times, if we wait till the tires are wearing, it should have been done previously. Excuse me. When put off by the customer, the vehicle is stable around turns, and it's going to have a reduced straight line stability, both of which can result in significant safety issues for the customer. When an alignment is out of specifications, it can cause tires to wear prematurely, reduce fuel economy, resulting in added expense to your customers. So determining if the vehicle is out of alignment, according to Hunter Engineering, 60% of the vehicles in operation today are in need of an alignment. So you could always look for uneven tire wear on the front or rear tire. Is there a feathering pattern caused by a toe angle being out, or wear on the inner or outer shoulders of the tires caused by an out-of-specification camber angle? And do you know the importance of the camber, caster, and toe angles on vehicles? Some of this might think, are we getting into the weeds? But I think one of the reasons training your advisors on what a camber angle is, what a toe angle is, and even what a caster angle is, which you really can't adjust anymore, is kind of important, so they get an understanding of how that impacts the vehicle's tire, or the tire wear, and the safety, more importantly than anything else. As the vehicle goes around a turn, the outer wheels have a higher frictional force with the road than the inner wheels. If you look at the camber angles down below on that diagram, you could see the one with the negative camber, the tires angled out. And the reason that's the case is when you're going around a turn, that pressure that's that higher frictional force. A negative camber keeps the outer wheels in better contact with the road, increasing the safety and stability when turning. Most advisors, when they're selling alignments, are selling them based on saving on increasing tire wear, which is a great reason to do it. But they very rarely talk about the safety issues that are involved in that. When camber angle is off, it will cause premature tire wear to the outside shoulder of the tires, decreasing tire life, but it also reduces the cornering, making the vehicle less safe, meaning it doesn't corner nearly as well going around those things. The rear camber angle, most modern vehicles have adjustments to that rear camber angle, but not all do. When the rear camber is out, it will wear the rear tires excessively, and it may need to have the control arm replaced, as many vehicles come from the factory without an adjustable control arm. If you check the rear camber angle and it's out, something needs to be fixed. I've heard technicians say things like, well, the rear camber angle's out, but there's no adjustment to the rear control arm. Well, that doesn't mean that something isn't worn out. The vehicle's squatting, it's doing something. So is it springs? Is it struts? Do we have to go out and buy an adjustable control arm to replace that? And it's one of the important parts to get across to those people. And there, as I said, there may be a weak spring or strut. Caster angle, the angle that the wheel turns around, which is the steering axis. This steering axis is never vertical. It's always set in a positive angle, which allows the steering wheel to return to the center on its own after making a turn. It's not adjustable on any modern cars, and the angle should be measured. If the measurement is out of specifications, it most likely means that a part of the suspension is worn or bent and will need to be replaced. Toe angle is also an important measurement. It is the one that is most commonly out on vehicles. So there's two basically common angles. It could be towing in or towing out. Again, in the example that you see, it shows the two different types. Minimum tire wear will occur at a zero toe angle. However, all passenger vehicles are set up with a toe-in angle, and this is mainly for safety concerns. With the vehicle in a toe-out angle, the steering is much more sensitive and responsive, but that sensitivity can be so sensitive that a vehicle can become unstable or unsafe. And if you think about it, if your vehicle is towed out, if you look in that picture, as you're trying to make a turn, that vehicle's still pointing away from where, or that tire's still pointing away from where you want to turn. The straight line, and that therefore impacts the straight line stability of the vehicle, and it can be compromised, also making it unsafe. And excessive toe out can also cause premature tire wear in a feathering pattern and increased fuel consumption. So you got to focus very hard on training your advisors on the importance of tire maintenance and alignment. The more educated they are, it helps them to get more customers to agree and not just say yes, but to also understand and believe in the products that we're selling. That's why technical awareness is so important.
Thanks, Bill.
Back to Kristen.
So we wanted to just review with you what we covered last week as well on the first week online forum, reminding you again, what are some things that you can continue to work on with your team, starting with your advisors. So always, maintenance menu and MPI presentations are important. Work with them on a feature benefit type of selling model with your customers, presenting those items in the drive. Establish rapport, build trust with their customers. Make sure they're continuing to do this now more than ever. People want to have those types of conversations. They want to stay connected. We're all a little bit lacking in our social interaction right now. So I'd imagine your customers really won't mind having those sort of small talk conversations with your advisors to build rapport as they bring their vehicles in. Remind your customers the importance of maintaining peak performance of their vehicle. They're not spending a lot of time driving their cars. They're not taking those long vacations, but they are going to. Get them prepared now for when we all do get at the other side of this challenge here, and help them be prepared for when they're ready to take off in their vehicle, and remind them of those things. They may not realize that there is going to come a time when your service department is going to be back running at full capacity, and even it's going to be difficult potentially to get an appointment with your dealership for those oil changes, to get the alignment checked, and to get the tires rotated and things like that. The cost savings now of maintaining their vehicle on a consistent basis versus paying for costly repairs later. And if you want help with these word tracks, go to our website. I'll show you the links to that. Call us, email Bill, email me. If you know, obviously many of you are customers of ours, email your trainer. Say, hey, we need a refresher on what we should be saying to our customers. Can you help us out? And so then also incorporate into their word tracks the steps that you're now taking for, again, the safety and health of your customers and your employees. Now's a great time to focus on outbound phone calls. Every dealership that we go into tells us that they just don't have the time. Sometimes they don't have the resources to make as many outbound calls as they would like. Some of those outbound calls can even be income generating. So call your recall customers. Now's a good time to get those folks in the door. CSI calls, just letting them know that, or asking them, about their experience at your store. And you can certainly just call to touch base even, let them know your operating hours, whatever you feel is necessary to communicate to your customers. And if you've got those folks available now, it's a great way to utilize them. We have talked to some dealers that are telling us, yes, our hours per RO are going up while our RO count has gone down. So the reality of that is you have the time to spend with these customers and to sell to them those services that are required and or needed at this time. So RO counts should be going up. With regard to your technicians, you can never be good enough or have all of your technicians doing their MPIs as accurately and as thoroughly as they should. In other words, this is an area that you can always improve in. So work on that with your technicians. Get caught up on all your internals. Provide pickup and delivery of vehicles. Your technicians can be folks that do this if that's a service that you're providing to customers right now in order to get their car into the shop. There are online technician training options. Check those out, take advantage of them. And really from a management standpoint, now is the time to expand, quote unquote, the tools that you have in your toolbox in running your department. What are the areas that you've always wanted to have more time to spend in? Maybe it is on finding additional technician training options. Maybe it's on brushing up your advertisements for hiring technicians. Are they good? Do they, pull in the candidates that you're looking for? So take a look at all those things that you as a manager sometimes don't have time for. Cleaning and organizing the shop, the tool room, the parts department. All of those areas are also places where we can utilize your team and yourself to work. Managers, conduct a repair order analysis. We do this in stores that we go in our 2-day analysis. And so you pick 50, 75, 100 customer pay repair orders and do an audit line by line of what's on those. Determine how many one-item ROs you have. What's the time and mileage of the vehicles that came in the last 30 days? And obviously you can also analyze those by advisor and see really what your advisors are doing on a day-to-day basis. Hands-on training and coaching, again, work on word tracks, help your folks memorize and get comfortable with in a natural way what they're saying to your customers. Okay, and we talked about some of these others. Reviewing compensation plans is always something, if that's something you've wanted to do, now's the time to do it. There's some great resources we also have on our website. Don Reed, our CEO, has talked about compensation plans that motivate. And then take an overall inventory of your current processes. Where do you want to improve? Your dispatch process, your scheduling process, your SOP process. Those are all areas that we find when we go into a store are needing some help. If you have any questions or we can help in any way, there are resources on our website at www.DealerPROTraining.com. Our phone number is there. We are still open for business in that way. Call us, email us for information. And my email is kwilliams@DealerPROTraining.com. Bill Horgan's email is bhorgan, HORGAN, @DealerPROTraining.com. We're here to help any way we can. And we hope that you'll join us next week, or this week, I should say, on Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern for our next online forum discussion. We're going to talk about getting back to some of the specifics with regard to managing and leading in service and parts. What are some daily things that service managers can and should be doing? And what's the best way to lead your employees through these transitions? Thanks for joining us, and have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.